every learner arrives with different strengths, challenges, interests, experiences, and the ways of learning. Yet, we often provide one lesson, almost similar worksheet for all, or the one assessment, and hope it works for everyone. Today's conversation is about moving from teaching a class to teaching learners. So I request you all to introduce yourself. Please drop in your name, school name, and the city in the chat box. I request you all to type in your name, school name, and city in the chat box. Also, answer this question. Which learner group do you find most challenging to support consistently? Advanced learner, struggling learner, learners with varied learning style, learners with different interest, or multiple, you know, multiple differences in one classroom. So, which one is more challenging for you to support consistently? Is it advanced learners, struggling learners, different learning style, different interest, or mixed ability classroom? So, welcome, Miss Asmita ma'am from Reliance Foundation School. I request all of you to drop in your name, school name, and city in the chat box. Along with that, please answer the question. Which learners group do you find most challenging in your class or most challenging to support consistently? I would redefine that. Is it only advanced learner? Is it struggling learner? Is it dealing with learning style, different learning style, or dealing with different interests, or is it mixed ability classroom? Welcome, Nidhi ma'am. Yes, I agree with you. Mixed ability classroom is I'm sure it is difficult to deal with. Learners with different learning style. I think I'm sure, if you ask me, it will be like when you mix all the learners in one group, it becomes a little challenging whom to support more, whom to support less, how to deal with that, isn't it? I usually find that most teachers don't struggle because they don't care. They struggle because planning multiple pathways take time. And that's exactly we are going to solve today. Welcome, Ranjana ma'am. Welcome, Pranali ma'am. Yes, Nidhi ma'am. Mixed ability and the struggling learners. I agree with that. So, as always, our today's session will again bring some practical solutions to our classroom challenges. Our goal is not to give you any educational theory, but by the end of this webinar, you can open Copilot tomorrow and create personalized learning experiences in minutes instead of hours. I request you all to type one word that comes to your mind when you hear the word personalization. What comes to your mind? There's no right or wrong response. You can write whatever you feel or whatever comes to your mind instantly. What do what do you understand by the term personalization, or what comes to your mind when I say personalized uh, classroom or personalization in context of teaching and learning? Share your responses in the chat box. And those who are joining us, please ensure you write your name, school name, and the city in the chat box. Customization of the content. Very well said, Manjot ma'am. Let's imagine a classroom. We are teaching, students about fractions. Now, that class, I have few students who understand fractions within 5 minutes, but there are few learners who need three different examples to understand. There's another group of few learners who also need visuals. Some students require manipulatives or some concrete material to explore the concept. Now, should all the students have the same learning goal? Definitely yes. Our learning goal remains the same, but the learning pathway varies according to my learners. I'll reach the same destination with the different learning pathways for different kind of learners. That is what is personalization. You know, we have to reach one destination, but taking the different routes. So, the destination remains the same, but the journey may differ for each of them. Think about Google Maps that we use every day. If we want to reach the airport, or if 20 people wants to reach the airport, will everyone take the same route? Everyone will take the different route. Somebody would prefer to go by metro, some would like to drive, someone would may, take a bike. Different paths, same destination. Learning works the exactly way. Every classroom will be a mix of. We can never say that I can make a perfect or homogeneous class. Every classroom includes different abilities, different languages, interests, learning preferences. And personalization is bringing multiple pathways within the same class so that every child learns. Today, we will be discussing about three diversity or three diverse type of learners. We will look into academic diversity, learning preferences, and interest diversity. When I say learning, academic diversity, that means different learning levels of the learners, right? When I say learning preferences, each one has a different style of learning, and interest diversity is different interest of them, different passions, different motivations. Let us look at each, one by one. So first, we'll move to academic diversity. If I talk about academic diversity, we can usually, divide our learners into three groups: on level, above level, below level, right? You may also say advanced learners, grade level learners, or struggling learners. I'm sure if I tell you a situation that, just reflect to your classroom and think about those students who finishes everything first, or those students who struggle with basic instructions. And then there's a group of students that is in between, who are not even struggling with basic instruction, but not fast enough to finish everything first. Average speed, you can say. That's every classroom, right? Now, let's imagine we are teaching the topic of forces in class 8. If we talk about advanced learner, we'll find them they grasp concepts quickly, make connections across the topic, and often seek greater intellectual challenge. So if I'm supposed to teach advanced learners with the same topic forces, what could be the option for them? These students may already understand the basic concepts such as gravity, frictions, balance forces before instruction begins. If they are given only routine exercise, they may be disengaged, and I'm sure they'll feel bored. They need opportunities for higher order thinking, problem solving, research, innovation, and real world application. For example, instead of simply calculating force, they might investigate how engineers use force principle in roller coaster design or space exploration. Copilot can help teachers generate extension activities, inquiry projects, and challenge questions that deepen understanding. Now, if I talk about grade level learners, they generally demonstrate the expected knowledge and skills. as per their age and curriculum standards. They benefit from clear instruction, structured practice, and opportunities to apply concepts in meaningful context. So this is something which we usually take, are most of the learners, and we usually plan our lessons according to them and ignore mostly either the struggling learners or the advanced learners. So here they can analyze forces acting on a moving bicycle or a cricket ball. Copilot can create practice activities, guided discussion, and real world example that supports the mastery of the curriculum. Whereas we have very significant group, because we can't ignore those who are struggling. We need to pull them and bring them together, right? And they usually struggle in understanding the concept. They have few learning gaps, difficulties with abstract thinking, or requires additional support. They often benefit from simplified explanations, step by step instructions, visual representation, and frequent feedback. So, for those kind of learners, they may get, confused force with motions or have difficulty understanding invisible forces such as gravity. For example, we may use pictures of pushing a shopping cart or kicking a football can make concept concrete. And such kind of scaffolded lessons, simplified explanations, targeted practice activities can be generated using Copilot. Sometimes what happens, as a teacher, we know the content and we try to explain the concept in our own language. And being adult, we usually end up using our technical terms. Rather, we forget, whether my learners are that level or not. What if I simplify the language? And I'm sharing this from my practical experience also. When we create content, I have worked with different publishers also. So we used to struggle when creating the content for class 1 was more difficult compared to creating the content for class 5, because there are many terms that we use generally is not familiar to a class 1 child. So we always end up looking for simplified way of explaining that concept. I'll share another example with you. I have seen, many teachers, when they are teaching some concept and talking about percent, they may not be a math teacher. Even with the math teacher, I have observed, but I'll give you a simple example. When we talk about water on earth in science, right? Now, let's take a class 4 where teacher is taking EVS or science class, and she says about 70% or 71% of the earth is filled with water. What happened here? The child is not aware of the word or the conceptual understanding about the percent. Better way to explain this was three-fourth of the earth, which is fraction which child is usually, learning in their class. So such kind of simplified explanation according to the learners help them to understand. And all this is not done deliberately. This happens, you know, very naturally. We forget to look at key, okay, this might confuse the learners. So all the three kind of learners sit together, whether they already know about the basic concept and need some enrichment task, or the group of learners who are at grade level, or some those learners who are struggling. But Copilot is there to help you to create personalized learning experiences for your classroom. So here we have our activity for today. um, How can Copilot help us? Let us look at that. So let's imagine a situation where all of the students have watched two videos about climate change. Post that, teacher need task for the students to to understand the concept better. Now, one option is you create the common task for the learners. Other option is, let's take help of the learners. Let's create, different tasks for each type of learners. who are at different learning levels and give them task accordingly. So let's go ahead and see how this is going to help us. I'll be showing you Copilot. Give me a minute. I'll be sharing my screen. Just a minute. I hope my screen is visible to you all. So I'll be trying our first prompt, which is for enriched learners. So I'll be giving the context that students have watched two videos about climate change, and I'm asking the Copilot to create enrichment activity for the advanced learners. Okay, so this is a prompt, and I can share this prompt with you in the chat box also, so that all of you can, if you want to try, you can try it out. Or you can try, similar prompt, but changing the concept according to your subject. So here we have enrichment activity, climate change innovators challenge. Duration is also given to you. You can ask. Remember what we always say, ki think, share, and then review whether it is appropriate or not. Suppose I don't want 1 or 2 weeks time. So then I'll ask to reduce the duration. I'll ask, I want 20 minutes challenge activity. So improvise the prompt if required. What you need, except that what you don't need, reject that. So we need enrichment activity. So let me create an enrichment. And I'll mention here not more than 30 minutes. I'm considering that I'm looking for an activity to do in the class. So I have given that instruction. Now, this is what it gives. Climate data detective. And then there's another part 2, rapid research, solution design challenge, student-led action project pitch. So I am sure, as a human, we need to intervene with the chat responses, but definitely this saves a lot of time for me. Now, let me try another one, which is for grade level learners. So here I have given the same context, and now it has already understood that I don't need anything more than 20-30 minutes. So it has given me think and discuss kind of question. We can do it either with whole class or with a pair of learners. Graphic organizer, main idea and supporting detail organizer, compare and connect organizer. I'm sure, wow, wonderful ideas. So I have too many options to choose from, and I'm sure what else do you need as a teacher? Let's try the third one for the struggling learners. So here it says, uh, this scaffolded activity simplifies climate change concept. This is the activity, cause and effect. What is climate change? What causes climate change? Very simple, basic understanding if you see. And then visual support, you can create a cause and effect map. You can ask the, Copilot to create the visual for this. Okay. Then we have step-by-step activity. Read each card and sort the cards. Which one is causes? Which one is effect? Draw and explain. Wonderful ideas we have, right? I'll be sharing these prompts with you in the chat box so that you can improvise for your subject and use it with Copilot. Uh, Feel free to add any explanation or any detailing to the prompt, as we know that the more we specify or give the context correctly, the more suitable is the result, right? So going back to our slides, so every learner arrives in our class with different strengths, challenges, interests, experiences, and way of learning. What we need, we need to provide them the learning experiences according to their age group. Now, what we have done right now is asking the task separately for each type of learners. You can also try, single prompt with them and asking, Copilot to give all the responses all together. You may try both ways. I feel, I prefer to go with the separate one, but you can try and see what comes better. When I give the separate prompt, what I get is I get multiple ideas for each type of learners and I have the option to choose. When you ask a bigger output, then there are chances that you may not get multiple options for each type of learners. But again, I'll say try it out, choose yourself what works well with your learners, with your class, with your subject and topic. Go ahead with that. At the end, what is important is creating better learning experiences for our learners, right? Now, moving to learning preferences, that means each one of our learner has a different learning style. I'm sure if you I ask you to imagine, what kind of learners do you what is your style of learning? If I ask you to reflect on, each one of us will have a different style of learning. Somebody like to learn in a polite area, just being with themselves, reading, or self learning. Some people learn by interacting with each other. Some people prefer to have visuals, or some may want audio visual both. So each one of us as an adult are different. We all learn differently. Then obviously, how can our children learn the same way? The learning goal remains the same, but the pathways can be different. This is what we have started with. Here we have different kind of learners uh, with the different styles of learning. Visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic learners, and linguistic learners. Visual learners prefer to learn by through visuals. So usually you will find that, using diagrams, graphic organizers, Putting the information in some conceptual map or mind maps help them to learn the concept and retain it for longer term. Whereas auditory learners learn more by hearing and discussing information. Kinesthetic learners prefer to learn by experiencing and doing. They prefer hands-on activities or some physical, investigations, role play, extra. Linguistic learners prefer to have reading, writing, or some task related to the language. Uh, if while talking learning about friction, a visual learner might study a diagram showing friction acting on a bicycle, whereas a auditory learner might discuss why brakes stops a bicycle. A kinesthetic learner might conduct an experiment rolling object on different surfaces, whereas a linguistic learner might write an explanation of how friction affects movement. All four students are learning the same science concept, but in ways that match how they engage most effective with learning. And Copilot helps teachers quickly create these varied pathways without having to design each one from the scratch. There's another prompt that you may try for different styles of learning and create, you know, different activities for each style of learners. So I'm sharing this prompt with all of you. You may try a separate also. You can try one prompt also. Again, choice is yours. What works well for your classroom, please go ahead with that. I would appreciate if you take out 1 minute right now and try prompt, for your subject, for any topic that you want with the Copilot on your phone or on your device. I'll wait for 1 minute. I would like you all to try it out and share your experience with us. Even for if you want to try it for only one style of learner, you can try that also with the Copilot and share how was your experience with the Copilot. Did you get different activities? And I would ask you to, go ahead what you feel is the most challenging to plan for that particular topic. So if you would like to share what you got on Copilot, please feel free to share on the chat, or any reflection through this activity, feel free to share in the chat. Let's go ahead. Interest diversity. The way every learner has different learning levels, different style of learning. At the same time, each of us, every individual has different interests also. One, may like to play out physically, the other may not be interested. The other child may loves art, right? The thing is, if I can create a choice board of activities where I provide option to choose according to their interest for the same topic. For example, let's assume, four students of my classroom. One loves cricket, another loves technology, the third one loves art, and one cares about climate change. Would the same example excite all four students? I'm sure no, right? So meaning drives in engagement. And if we see majorly, let's divide these students into four categories. We can say our classroom has may have learners that are sports enthusiasts, who are more into athletic activities, who loves to go out and play, technology lovers who loves to work with devices, artists and creators who are more into drama, music, or art, and then environmental advocates who are always get touchy about the environment, concern about that, and always be careful about that. Now, let's take the same concept that we are teaching them forces, right? What can we do with them? If I'm teaching all the four groups, I can bring different example. Great, Sheetal ma'am. So Sheetal ma'am tried ball poem, English class 10. Wow, it gave me wonderful activities for variety of learners like role play, picture reading. Great. I appreciate that you tried this. Even I would like to share, my major subject is mathematics. So recently I was doing, a workshop or attending a workshop where we had a slide, explain fractions using song, picture, or, just in text or anything. At that time I thought, okay, visual I can do, through the words I can explain, but I have never tried for song. And I asked Copilot to explain fraction using a poem or a rhyme. I can't tell you what wonderful rhyme I got it, and I was like, wow. So sometimes we just don't think about trying the other ways, but I'm sure when you try you get different, and some more ideas are added to our for our learners. So we are teaching force lesson, and for sports enthusiasts, we can try bringing examples related to football, basketball, cricket, or any other relevant activity. For example, students can examine how force affects the distance a cricket ball travels, or how friction influences a runner's performance. Copilot can create sports-based problem scenarios and investigation that connects science concepts to students' passion. Similarly, for tech lovers, we can bring examples related to drones, self-driving cars, robotics, or space missions. Students might explore how engineers calculate forces to ensure that robots move safely and efficiently. Copilot can generate STEM challenges, engineering design tasks, and technology focused projects that increases engagement. Now, definitely, we will not leave our art lovers behind. And for students like these, we can, ask students to create comics explaining gravity, produce stop motion animation, showing force and motion, or design posters illustrating different types of forces. I'm sure that would be a lovely experience for them. And they may think about featuring their own superhero. Such kind of creative project ideas, story prompts, and performance based assessments options can be created using Copilot. Now, if I talk about our environmental advocates, we can explore how forces principles are used in renewable energy systems such as wind turbines or electric plants. Students might investigate how forces help generate electricity from moving water or wind. Such kind of inquiry-based projects that connect science to global environmental challenges can be created by Copilot and would be loved by our environmental advocates. So these are few examples I have shared with you. Why not you try for your own subject or concept in your class? You may try it now, you may try it later after the session, but please ensure that you do it, because if you bring such kind of different experiences in the classroom, if you bring all these multiple pathways for the learners, I'm sure we will be able to touch with every kind of learner. One thing I would like to say here, when I was discussing all this example, my learning outcome remained the same. Learning outcome is understanding about the concept force. Though my example varied or my activity varied from cricket to drones to comic strip or wind turbines, but all learned about the force through different entry points, right? Now, it's your time for you to think about your own classroom. Think about, which topic do students struggle to engage with, and imagine connecting it to their interest. I'm sure they will enjoy that concept thoroughly. So make Copilot your helping hand, not, your doer. So it is always there to guide you, give you ideas. Here, another sample prompt I'll be sharing with you. Create a 9 square choice board. I was talking about choice board. Here comes the choice board. So you can create a choice board where you prepare different tasks and give the option to the learners to choose the task, and they choose it. That way you bring open-endedness also in your classroom, and students are working on the same concept, but with the choice of their own interest, their own academic readiness and learning preferences, right? So this is another prompt I have shared with you, and you can try it too. Okay, lovely, Asmita ma'am. That's so nice. I'm happy, teachers, the way you are trying the different prompts. That's really, so nice of you. And you all are getting different kind of games options. That's so lovely. So if you give this prompt, your students may get research task, video creation, poster, or maybe a reflection journal. Depends what topic you choose, what prompt you give, and what output you get. I'm sure if you go ahead with different learning pathways to the same learning goal, your students are going to enjoy the class more. I would again bring this and will keep reminding this whenever we talk about Copilot. Human in the loop is very important. It is not AI who understands your classroom better. So whenever you give prompt, think what is the goal, specify the details, what do you want, whom do you want to deal with, explore whatever responses do you get, go through that, see if you want to improvise, if you want to change, adapt, and then according to your classes, suit it and use it for your classroom, right? Because you know your learners better. AI is there to give you idea, but how to take it in your classroom is all your choice. So the goal is not every student to learn the same thing in the same way, but for every student to achieve the same learning success. That is what we want for our learners. So here we would see what shift are we trying to make. We want, from the same task for every student, we will be shifting to differentiated activities and choices. Rather than spending time on creative resources, time is spent more on supporting the learners. Differentiated activities and choices to the learners. Standardized assessment is now moving toward flexible ways to demonstrate learning, and teaching enhanced by AI powered personalization. This is what we would like to shift, right? So I would like you all to tell me, where are you here? You are beginning this journey, then type 1. You are already experimenting this, type 2 in the chat box. And you already have personalized class consistently, then type 3 in the chat box. Where are you? I Wow, great, Sheetal ma'am. If you're already using this consistently, I'm sure you must be having a great stories from your classroom. And with this, I would like you all also to reflect on today's session. What is one thought that stuck by you today? one personalization strategy you are going to try in this month with your learners. I would request you to share your reflections in the chat box. One idea from today's session that stayed with you, or one personalization strategy that you're going to try with your learners in this month. Share your responses in the chat box. While you share your responses, I'll invite, just a minute. Please share your reflections in the chat box. While you share your responses, I invite Dr. Alok Tiwari, PGT Hindi from CM Schools, Sector 18, Rohini. And I hope I met Alok sir about a month back. And, when we were talking about Copilot, I really liked what sir shared with me. And we thought of inviting him. And here, sir is PGT Hindi from CM Shri, but I'll tell you what he has done with Copilot. So over to you, sir.
नमस्कार सबको। सबसे पहले तो मैं मीनाक्षी जी को, खुशबू जी को और पूरी को पायलट की मेंटर टीम को थैंक यू कहना चाहूँगा कि आप सभी ने इस मंच पर मुझे अपने अनुभव साझा करने का अवसर दिया। जैसा कि मीनाक्षी मैम ने बताया कि मैं पीजीटी हिंदी के रूप में काम कर रहा हूँ, लगभग 20 वर्ष से मैं काम कर रहा हूँ और इस दौरान मैं जुड़ा रहा एससीईआरटी से भी, टीचर ट्रेनिंग से भी जुड़ा रहा। तो हिंदी को लेकर मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एक ठीक-ठाक समझ है और मैं हिंदी पढ़ाता रहा हूँ। स्कूल के दिनों में और अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी के दिनों में मैंने पॉलिटिकल साइंस, ज्योग्राफी और अलग-अलग सब्जेक्ट्स भी पढ़ रखे हैं। लेकिन इस बार हमारे स्कूल के साथ एक बड़ी चुनौती आई। वो चुनौती ये थी कि हमारा स्कूल अब तक एक स्टेम स्कूल था, यानी साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी से संबंधित स्कूल था। इस बार हमारे स्कूल को एक नई स्ट्रीम इंट्रोड्यूस की गई, वो थी ह्यूमैनिटीज की स्ट्रीम। और जैसा कि आप में से काफी लोग जानते होंगे कि गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में जब नई स्ट्रीम इंट्रोड्यूस होती है, तो तुरंत कई बार टीचर्स अवेलेबल नहीं होते। तो हमारे स्कूल में पॉलिटिकल साइंस का कोई टीचर नहीं था। मैं क्लास टीचर था मेरी क्लास का और बच्चे जब आने लगे तो उन बच्चों ने रिक्वेस्ट की कि सर पॉलिटिकल साइंस में हम लोगों को बहुत दिक्कत हो रही है। हमारी एचओएस मैम ने मुझसे कहा कि आपने तो पीजी भी कर रखा है पॉलिटिकल साइंस में, तो आप पढ़ा दीजिए। और मेरे साथ प्रॉब्लम ये थी कोई पॉलिटिकल साइंस एज सब्जेक्ट तो मैंने पढ़ रखा था, लेकिन उसे पढ़ाना कैसे है उसका मेरे पास बिल्कुल अनुभव नहीं था। अब जब ये समस्या मेरे सामने आई तो मैंने को पायलट का सहारा लिया। मैंने खुशबू मैडम से भी बात की थी इस दौरान। को पायलट को मैंने सिंपली एक वो दिया कि सीबीएसई के क्लास 11th में फंडामेंटल राइट्स पढ़ाना है मुझे, मैं कैसे पढ़ा सकता हूँ। कई सारे सजेशंस आए। उन सजेशंस में उसने लेसन प्लान बना के दिया। लेसन प्लान में बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज आई और चीजें थी। मैं एक रॉ फॉर्म में उन एक्टिविटीज को लेकर क्लास में गया। अब वहां दिक्कत ये आई कि मुझे पहली बार पता चला कि एक इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल होने के बावजूद जो ह्यूमैनिटीज ग्रुप के आया था मेरे स्कूल में, उसके ऑलमोस्ट 40 to 45% स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे थे जो अभी तक हिंदी मीडियम से पढ़कर आए थे। तो उनके लिए बड़ी दिक्कत आ रही थी कि कंसेप्ट को इंग्लिश में कैसे वो समझें। फिर मैंने को पायलट का फिर से सहारा लिया। मैंने अपनी बात शेयर की कि भाई हमारे जो बच्चे हैं वो हिंदी मीडियम से आए हैं और एक मिक्स्ड ग्रुप है हमारे पास, उनको कैसे पढ़ाया जाए। तो को पायलट ने एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत लेआउट बनाकर मुझे दिया। मैंने उसको प्रस्तुत किया, पीपीटी भी बनाई उसने और एक बड़ी अच्छी एक्टिविटी शेयर की, थिंक पेयर शेयर। ये एक्टिविटी इससे पहले मैंने हिंदी में कई बार कराई थी, लेकिन पॉलिटिकल साइंस में इसको कैसे करना है उसका पूरा एक तरह से कहिए कि लेआउट बना कर दिया, और मैंने उसे प्रस्तुत किया, जिससे इस समय हमारे जो बच्चे हैं वो बहुत संतुष्ट हैं। और इस समय हम थर्ड चैप्टर पर हैं, और तीनों चैप्टर जो है बच्चे बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ रहे हैं। इसके अलावा और मैं जिक्र करना चाहूंगा, मैंने ये तो मेरे सामने अभी रिसेंटली आई समस्या थी। इसके अलावा मैंने हिंदी सब्जेक्ट को क्लासरूम टीचिंग के लिए तो मैंने उपयोग किया ही था। अभी हमारे यहाँ दिल्ली में जो नए अपॉइंटेड पीजीटी हिंदी टीचर्स हैं उनके लिए ट्रेनिंग सेशंस होने हैं। तो ट्रेनिंग सेशंस में मैं भी एज एक्सपर्ट जाता हूँ। तो उसके लिए इससे पहले मैं अपनी तरह से जैसे हम सभी बनाते हैं पीपीटीज वगैरह बनाता था। इस बार मैंने सोचा कि क्यों ना को पायलट से हेल्प ली जाए। और आप देख सकते हैं आपके स्क्रीन पर भी है, कहानी है खाना बदोश, ओम प्रकाश वाल्मीकि की। इसको पढ़ाने के लिए मैंने अपनी तरफ से मैं जो करता हूँ वो मैंने वहां प्रस्तुत किया, को पायलट को दिया कि मैं ये करता हूँ, आप मुझे सुझाएं कि मैं और क्या क्या कर सकता हूँ। और को पायलट ने इस बात को ध्यान में रखते हुए कि ये किन टीचर्स के लिए है, इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए उस चैप्टर को कैसे पढ़ाया जाएगा, किस तरह से उनमें अलग अलग विमर्श हैं, कैसे उनमें मजदूरों का विमर्श आता है, दलित विमर्श आता है, और कैसे ये कहानी समाज और संस्कृति को परिलक्षित करती है, इसका पूरा एक विस्तृत आयाम प्रस्तुत किया और पॉइंटर्स में सुझाया कि इसको कैसे टीचर्स के बीच में ले जाएं। इसके अलावा बहुत सारी ऐसी गतिविधियों के सुझाव इस को पायलट ने मुझे दिए जो मेरे लिए एकदम नई गतिविधियां थी, जो टीचर्स के बीच में की जा सकती हैं। आपके सामने स्क्रीन पर एक और वो दिख रहा होगा, हमारे स्कूल में हम लोग प्रेमचंद जयंती मनाना चाहते थे। प्रेमचंद का एक कथन है, मुझे बहुत पसंद था, जैसे आप देख भी रहे हैं स्क्रीन पर लिखा है, लिखते तो वे लोग हैं जिनके अंदर कुछ दर्द है, अनुराग है, लगन है, विचार है, जिन्होंने धन भोग विलास और जीवन का लक्ष्य बना लिया है, वो क्या लिखेंगे। एक सिंपल सा प्रेमचंद का ये कथन मैंने दिया, और मैंने कहा कि एक पोस्टर बनाइए, जो मैं चाहता हूं कि मेरे बच्चे जिस पोस्टर को देखकर लिखने के लिए प्रेरित भी हों और समाज के बारे में सोचें। इसने प्रेमचंद के इस कथन को और प्रेमचंद की फोटो को तो पोस्टर में ऐड किया ही साथ इसने दो और चीजें जोड़ी, और मुझे लगता है जो प्रेमचंद सचमुच में इस कथन के माध्यम से कहना चाहते थे, और वो ये था कि साहित्य समाज का दर्पण है, हम सब जानते हैं। आगे इसने उसमें जोड़ा, और संवेदना से परिवर्तन आता है। तो साहित्य और संवेदना का क्या संबंध है, किस तरह से साहित्य और संवेदना मिलकर समाज को बदलती है, शायद प्रेमचंद जो कहना चाह रहे थे प्रेमचंद जयंती पर इस पोस्टर के माध्यम से हम लोग कह पाए। इसी तरह से जो है और कई पार्ट हैं, जैसे सरोज स्मृति आपके सामने खुला हुआ है। सरोज स्मृति में बहुत दिक्कत होती है, टीचर्स को भी बहुत सारी दिक्कत होती है इस बात को लेकर कि जो सरोज स्मृति पार्ट है उसमें निराला जिन प्रतीकों का उपयोग कर रहे हैं उन प्रतीकों को कैसे समझाया जाए। जैसे उनकी पुत्री, एक तरफ तो वो अपनी बेटी सरोज की स्मृति में कह रहे हैं, दूसरी तरफ उनकी बेटी जो है वो उम्मीद यानी आशा, वात्सल्य और सौंदर्य का भी प्रतीक है। तो इस प्रतीक को किस तरह से प्रस्तुत किया जाए, इसको लेकर भी बहुत सारी गतिविधियां को पायलट के द्वारा मुझे सुझाई गई, और मैंने अपने साथी टीचर्स के साथ उसे डिस्कस किया, एससीईआरटी में डिस्कस किया, इसे बहुत अप्रिशिएट किया गया। और मुझे लगता है कि अगर एक शिक्षक के रूप में या एक एक्सपर्ट के रूप में हम अपने टारगेट ग्रुप को ठीक से समझ पा रहे हैं, यानी हम किन के लिए काम कर रहे हैं ये समझ पा रहे हैं, और सब्जेक्ट का बेसिक नॉलेज हमारे पास है, तो को पायलट को ये दोनों बातें बताने से को पायलट हमारे लिए बहुत आसान और बहुत एक तरह से सटीक रास्ता तैयार कर देता है, जिसके माध्यम से हम अपने टारगेट ग्रुप को या अपने बच्चों को अपने साथी टीचर्स के साथ एक अच्छी चर्चा कर सकते हैं, और सीखने के क्रम में आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। तो मैं को पायलट को लेकर बहुत आश्वस्त हूं, और मैं बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगा कि को पायलट ने मुझे व्यक्तिगत रूप से इस बात के लिए सक्षम बनाया कि मैं अलग अलग तरह के लोगों से एक ही विषय पर किस तरह से संवाद कर सकता हूं और किस तरह से उस संवाद को कार्य रूप में परिणत कर सकता हूं। मैं बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूं और बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं।
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing your experience and your story. It is not easy after years of, wait teaching another subject, and I'm glad that Copilot became your thinking partner for that, and how you have used it beautifully to inspire the learners. Thanks for sharing your journey.
थैंक यू सो मच
I'm
मैम।
sure it is very inspiring for all of us also. So, and all of you are definitely trying Copilot in multiple ways in your classroom. I request each one of you, if you also have your success stories to share, please message us, nominate yourself for Tech Talk Tuesday, and share your stories and your work here with us. Going ahead, let's talk about our community highlight. We conducted a master facilitator session for Rajasthan government teachers on AI skill empowerment on 6th and 7th August. About 62 participants and 10 districts covered. And I would like to take a moment to celebrate something truly inspiring. Very often, we talk about the transformation in education, but transformation only happens when educators are willing to learn, experiment, and lead. And this is what our Masters Facilitators program in Ajmer brought. All these master facilitators are here to learn and go further and train the teachers in their district for the AI in education about the co-pilot and how to prompt. These are the glimpses of the workshop that happened with them. And here we have experience sharing by one of the participant. So what we have noticed very interesting is that most of those educators were not necessarily very technical, but they were very curious to learn, very open to, learn the technology and implement it. That is what excites us. And here is our feature headlight teach module. Since we are talking about differentiated instructions, taking care of personalization in our classroom, so why not look at the updated feature of the teach module? So I'll show you something on my screen. Just give me a minute. So I'll take you all to teach module. Just a minute. Sorry, I think I'm not able to share this page. Just I'll try once more time. If this doesn't happen, then I'll explain you through screenshot. Give me one more time. So let me try this way. Can you all see my screen? So here we have our teach module. I'll just try to show you the feature. Due to short of time, I may not be able to give you the complete demonstration, but this is the updated feature we have. If you go to modify existing content, there is differentiated instructions. If you go here, you can write the text, you can upload your lesson plan, whatever you want to create for differentiated instruction. Suggest the grade level, how you whether you want to scaffold the concept or you want to add example or hint, step by step explanation, how you want it to be concise, original, or expand. You can write it and generate differentiated instructions for your learners. Same way, there's another feature also. Sometimes it happens, we want our learners to read some material, but the same text may not be appropriate for all the learners. For my struggling learners, I want a simplified text, or for my advanced learner, I want some extra examples or extra information to enrich their learning. So you can add either the file or the text. Even you can add the PDF of the chapters, mention the topic, select the grade level, and you mention the key terms you want to preserve with that. It will also create the glossary of the key terms. Try this out. Try these features for your classroom for personalized learning experiences. I'm sure you will be happy to apply these features for your classroom. Coming back to our PPT, it's taking a while. Okay, so we talked about teach module and its updated feature of modify reading level, differentiated instructions, or add supporting examples. I request you all to try these updated features. Also, I would like to tell you this teach features works with the laptop or desktop only, not with your phone app. So to try these features, please try the system. Here is the social spotlight. We have, so why not, we always do our program for teachers, but why not for our administrative staff? I know we have our teachers here, but I request you all to please share this workshop. This is a global level workshop which is calling all the IT admins and going to talk about Microsoft 365, SharePoint, Teams, and Power Platform. How IT administration, admin department can take help from this, can enrich themselves in using Microsoft Copilot. So share with the concerned people of your school. Ask them to register for this event and join the session. And here we have Microsoft 365 Copilot chat. Again, they'll be talking about what safety or, policies should be taken care of, how study and learn can be used by students, what is the safety guidelines, and 13 plus students are supposed to, use Copilot chat. All those access administrative rights will be guided in this workshop to them. And you all can follow us on different platform, YouTube, social, Instagram. If there's any concern, please feel free to write to us on our email address, which is education@dpedagogics.com. And we request you to join our community on the WhatsApp also. And many of your schools are already registered with our school programs. This is the Tech Talk Tuesday for 18th, and we'll be continuing our for Tech Talk Tuesday further also. For the next week, we have a topic, teaching beyond the prompt. I invite you all to come and join the session on 25th August to go teaching beyond the prompt. And here at the end, I request you all to please share the feedback for the session today. I'm sharing the form link here in the chat box. I request you all to please fill the form and then just send a confirm message, submitted in the chat box. So just take 1 minute to fill this feedback form and drop in your message of submitted in the chat box. With the end of this workshop, I would like to remind you that AI is most powerful when it doesn't do the learning for students. It uh, rather gives you ideas to create better learning experiences. Today, we have explored a simple but powerful idea. Every learner is different, and personalization isn't about creating 30 different lessons for 30 students. It is just about creating multiple pathways to the same learning success. And with AI as our partner, that goal is becoming more achievable than ever before, because I know how teachers are occupied with multiple tasks, and it is not easy to take out time to do everything. So here is Copilot to help you out, save your time, but still bring the better learning experiences in your classroom. I'm sure you all are filling the feedback form. Please write the submitted in the chat box if you have filled the feedback form. If there's any question you would like to ask, feel free to ask in the chat box. Thank you everyone for your participation, for being present in our session, consistently coming here and being part of this learning journey. Make sure you submit the feedback form and write submitted in the chat box. Thank you, Anupama ma'am. Thank you, Sheetal ma'am. Thank you, Pranali ma'am. Thank you, Shravanti ma'am. Thank you, Lalita ma'am. Thank you, Pranali ma'am. Thank you, Anupama ma'am. I hope each one of you has filled the feedback form. I'll share the link once again. Thank you, Asmita ma'am.